how I go and shoot a wedding.
You want to create something in the world, you have to come out of the condition.
I am a lifestyle photographer based out of New Delhi.
पिक्सल विलेज का जो अप्रोच है वो जरा अलग है.
Hey, hello everyone. Good evening. This is Radha Krishnan from Pixel Village. Okay, thank you once again for joining in on a working day evening. And what you just saw was a brief presentation of what we do at Pixel Village. Pixel Village is not just a YouTube channel, but it's also an online photography education website. And we have some of the finest photography mentors in the country teaching photography for you. All right, so you can actually go to www.pixelvillage.com and browse and see the kind of classes that are available. They are at a price, of course. There are lots of free content, but there are also some content which are at a price, but very, very high quality production. You must take a look at it. And if you like it, you can purchase and watch them for an unlimited period of time. Okay, now we are today on another we're going to have another interesting conversation today with a very, very, well, for me, I think I've been saying that far too many times in this series of session that I'm going to sit like a kindergarten student and just listen to these people talk about what they do and how they do and why they do it. Towards the beginning, we saw Arjun Karta talking about wedding photography. I'm not a wedding photographer, but there was lots of learning in it. Then we heard Ramit Batra talking about the legal side of the client photographer agreement, and it was extremely informative for me. In fact, I could help somebody the other day about contracts because of the understanding that I gained from that session. And today we are on a completely different turf altogether. I have absolutely no clue of how this gentleman does what he does. And when I saw those images initially, when we got to know each other almost about 8-9 months back, he was anyway very popular at that time, but we got introduced to each other about 8-9 months back, and he sent me some images. They look like children playing with ink and all that, and this and all that I have seen of nightscape and astrophotography is like Milky Ways and star trails and things like that. And here I got to see some unbelievable kind of images. They looked like modern art, like abstract art. I've seen it in science magazines and science fictions and stuff, and this gentleman shoots that kind of an image. Well, before I introduce him to you, I want to quickly see who all have come in today. So, Renu Francis, Vignesh, Right Click Studio. Hi, Menon. How are you? Yash Dhome, Anwar Thanawala, Anwar Bhai. Thank you very much. That reminds me, Anurwala just wished me happy Gudi Padwa, and to you, Anwar Bhai, Ramzan Mubarak, and to everyone who's celebrating your festivals. It's an auspicious day today and tomorrow in the country and to many parts of the world. So everyone who's celebrating New Year and Ramzan, happy New Year and Ramzan Mubarak. Well, Al Husseini Hashmi, I'm seeing him for the first time. Please let me know where you are from, sir. Thank you very much. Then Tech Tips in Android. Hello. I think Anandu. Yeah, thank you very much, Anandu. Irene. Irene is watching from Philippines. Wonderful. Thank you, Irene, for joining. Video is buffering. Okay. I don't know if it is. It can also be too many people are on the internet, and I am using a home Wi-Fi because it's locked down here in Pune. I can't use my high bandwidth connection, which is available in my office. I'm using my home network, so please bear with me. You can experience that, but we hopefully will not go offline. We have Manu Digital Studio. We have Saurabh Nandekar, Saunak Das, John Kirubakaran, I Technicolors, Ranjit Sadanandan. Hi, Ranjit. Thank you very much for joining in today. And Raymond Waya and Ishan Yadav and Albi Irvi Bro. Hi, bro, from Bangladesh. Hi, bro. All right, wonderful. Kuldeep, Raman Pratap, Rana Pratap, Saurabh Chakrabarti from Assam, Vivek Joshi. Thank you, Kenal Saab, for joining. Thank you very much. Ashish Vengurlekar, thank you very much. Ashish, I think your last week's your gift is on your way. I don't know whether it will get stuck in in lockdown, but it's on its way. Ishan Yadav is from Ibiza, Spain. Wow, what a place to be in, Ibiza. Wonderful. So great. So I see a lot of people. Sagar Bhatia from Gujarat, Binu Vadavana. Happy Vishu. Thank you, Binu. And Technicolors blog is watching here from Philippines. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Really, really happy to see everyone. Nishant Deshpande. Hello, Nishant. Your giveaway is also on its way. Hopefully, you will receive it very soon. Okay. Now, what you can probably do before we actually start is to share that we are going to go live, and today's session is going to be really, really special. So please share the fact that we are live. Okay, that'll be great. Unfortunately, on YouTube, you can't do a watch party, but I'd like you to share to as many friends as possible. Wonderful. Okay, so to today's most important man. Okay, this is none other than, well, let me try and get him online. His name is AJITH Everester. Hi, Ajit. Welcome to Pixel Village.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you very much. I can see that you are you in space somewhere? I mean, you've created a nice, interesting backdrop for yourself.
Oh,
It's like you're floating in space. Very nice, wonderful. Thank you very much for creating such a nice, dramatic backdrop for our viewers. Wonderful. So, Ajit, this evening is all about you and your photography. I'm going to sit aside and enjoy the ride this evening. I'm really looking forward to seeing. Okay, by the way, viewers, what he's promised to do this evening is he's going to explain about a little bit about his journey as a photographer. He's a self-taught photographer, and he got into astrophotography, for various reasons, and then he started looking deeper into the space. So that is where he's going to make that difference. And he's also going to show you the kind of devices that he's using to create those images. They are not the kind of DSLRs and mirrorless that you and me are using. So stay tuned. That's going to be a really, to those people who are not really aware of this type of astrophotography, there's going to be a great learning. This evening is going to be of a great learning. All right. So Ajit, it's over to you, and I'm going to be sitting aside and enjoying this evening. Over to you.
thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Thank you for giving me a chance in your channel. And thank you,
You're
viewers.
welcome.
Thank you, dear friends. I'm really happy to meet you all through the Pixel Village channel. Today, as an astrophotographer, I am happy to share my experiences and share a bit of knowledge about how to do the deep space imaging and how this journey began for me. So actually, in 2011, I started my photography journey as a wildlife photographer, as everyone does normally.
That's
With
true.
and finally, I ended up with a Nikon D4 and a 500 lens, shooting
Wow.
wildlife, birds,
Okay.
mammals, and I was doing some extreme wild trips. All of a sudden, like things to get motivated with from kids, like my daughter wanted a telescope. I bought a telescope and started seeing through the planets initially through the telescope. Got interested in photographing. Then I photographed the planets. It came out very nice. So the journey started from there and ended up now actually still, it's a way long to go. No, it's a kind of journey which is a little bit hard. Self-learning is really hard,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, especially in a kind of photography in which not many people who are involved, and
Mm,
you don't have enough information over the internet.
mm.
It's a little hard to find a way. So when we thought of doing this program, so I have decided to show my journey through the equipments, what are, from where I started, and how is my equipment now, and what are the equipment which is needed, and how you will start with this, okay, and how you
Okay.
can do this kind of photography with your available DSLR and the lenses. So we will just have a small word about that, and I will walk you through my images, and I'll inform you I will educate you how I have done it, and all these things
Sure.
you will see in this session.
Sure.
So, shall we start with our presentation?
Yeah, of course. So once you hit play, I'll start sharing the image. So you can go to the first slide and hit play, and I will share the
Yeah.
screen.
So, all right.
That's right. Okay. So your presentation is on full screen now, so you can start.
Okay. You see, this is astrophotography, wide field to deep space imaging. When
Okay.
you say about wide field imaging or deep space imaging, initially we can say that like usually the wide field imaging represent to the Milky Way,
Uh,
but you see like there are different other targets which are considered to be wide field too. Okay, those things I will
okay.
let you know later. Okay, when during the course of the run, I
Sure.
will show. Okay,
Sure.
so deep space imaging is uh, imaging the targets, which is like thousands of light years or millions of light years away from our
Hmm.
planet
Earth.
Earth.
Yeah. Sure.
So when we consider about deep space imaging, or when you are becoming an astrophotographer, you know, is like when you start photographing any, the like even if when you start photographing moon, you will become a uh, astrophotographer
Yeah,
because
that's right.
it's in the sky.
Absolutely.
So I think we have finished about this slide. It's about me. you
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm working as a health and safety engineer in Qatar. It's been like 15 years in Qatar.
Okay.
Started my photography passion with photographing my daughter with a Nikon D5000
Okay.
camera and a 1855 lens Finally, I
Okay,
have ended
standard
up,
kit lens.
yeah, with that
Yeah.
lens. Finally, I have ended up with maybe like last month I have shifted my home to a new
Okay.
accommodation, to a new home.
Okay.
So I found out I
Okay.
needed a 3-ton full pickup of equipment to be shifted.
Okay, so
Mhm.
no, that's true of all that's true of all what do you call, that's true of all photographers. They spend so much on their passion. Yeah, I hope your wife has not found out that how much you spend on the cameras. Yeah,
It is like,
sure.
you say half the budget of the total
Yeah,
who have said
you never
spent it.
tell them the truth.
You
You
know,
never tell them the truth.
lucky she didn't find all the invoices in my mobile phone or somewhere.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
sure.
um, see, astrophotography, when you say about astrophotography, anything which you shoot in the sky, okay, is called astrophotography. Okay. Even it can be moon, or it can be a star trail, or it can be Milky Way, or you know, what do you say, like some time
Yeah,
lapses
a
of
night
32
sky.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, it's the night sky. You know,
Mm,
night sky when the stars are visible or the moon is
mm,
visible. Okay. So whenever you are photographing all these things, it's you are called as an astro. You can call yourself as an astrophotographer.
that's
Okay.
right.
But when you say like astrophotography, there is like people who are specializing in lunar imaging, solar imaging, even astrophotography will be um, see, yeah, photographing the sun also is considered to be astrophotography. That is also
Okay.
astrophotography. Okay,
Okay.
so like it is solar imaging, lunar imaging, planetary imaging, then wide field night skies or deep space imaging. There is so many kinds of photography in this, which can be specialized. Some people are specializing only in solar. Some are mainly mostly the beginners, like when you are beginning imaging, you will start with moon, then you will go for planets, then slowly you will go for the small, like the most famous nebulas. Then you will go with galaxies which is near to us. Usually the common first, every photographer will be, so every astrophotographer first image will be the Orion Nebula. you know. Orion Nebula
Okay.
is the most photographed nebula, and it is very common. And uh, as a galaxy, Andromeda galaxy is the most photographed. Okay.
Yeah.
Andromeda is the closest galaxy which can be seen with naked eye, and in a dark site. And similar to that, the Orion Nebula also can be seen
Okay.
with the naked eye. And unfortunately, our eyes don't have that much capability to recognize all the colors which is in the sky. Because we have
Okay.
a special kind of filters in our eyes. So
Okay.
we don't allow what like our hydrogen or like sulfur, or all these things, or infrared, ultraviolet rays. All these things will be blocked by our the filters which is given by nature.
Okay.
So, but when we are photographing the night sky, you have to allow all these uh, frequencies inside your camera,
Okay.
okay, inside your sensor. When you are see, our usual DSLRs will be having infrared block filter in front of our sensor.
That's true.
So that Yeah, so that is the reason when you are using a regular stock DSLR for photographing the night sky, you will not get the proper actual colors from the sky. So
Okay.
for that, we are modifying DSLRs. Like we are removing the IR block filters and we are
Okay.
adding additional filters like hydrogen
Okay.
filter, or there are some clip-in filters you can add
Okay.
in front of the sensor
Ajit, one
to,
request, Ajit. If you could look
yeah,
into your main camera, it'll be
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That's much better.
Because
Thank you.
like, yeah, fine.
Yeah. Uh,
Because actually, fine. Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
whenever you have an image, you can go back there. So at that time, your image will be the image that you shot will be bigger. Currently, you are on the
mhm.
big screen. So please, if you can look into the camera, it'll be
Sure.
great. Thank you.
So this
IR filter.
we are with the IR block filters. Like we will be
Yes.
adding some clip-in filters like hydrogen alpha, sulfur, or oxygen, and
Okay.
hydrogen beta filters are there. So these can be added as clip-in filters in front of the sensor instead of the IR block filters, so that
Okay.
this particular wavelength of the data of the light can be captured.
Okay.
Okay. So for that, instead of modifying the DSLRs, there are dedicated astro cameras. These cameras are,
Okay.
yeah, these cameras don't have a IR block filter, and but the problem is you need a computer or any other, like other specialized devices to control these cameras.
Okay.
Those things I will show it in real, actually,
Okay.
in my equipment when I show my
Sure.
gears.
Your setup. Sure.
We'll go to the next screen. Like,
Okay.
so, what are the basic requirements for astrophotography? Similar to every kind of photography, you need a camera, a telescope, or a lens, a sturdy mount. The sturdy mount can be a tripod and preferably a tracking mount. And of course,
Okay.
you need plenty of passion and plenty of planning, because
Mm.
each image when you photograph, like I will scroll through some of the images.
Okay.
I'll Let me scroll through one image and I'll explain to you how it is.
Wow. That's like modern art,
Yeah,
man.
see, thank you. This is called as the Heart Nebula.
Okay.
See the colors in this, the orange, the blue, all these colors are
Okay.
surreal, you can say. Okay, this is
Yes,
called
they
as
are.
a, yeah, these are this is called as the Hubble palette color pattern. Okay,
Okay.
so three filters are involved in this. You photograph with hydrogen alpha, oxygen 3, and sulfur. Okay.
Okay.
And the overall duration for this shot is approximately 16 hours.
16
Yeah.
hours.
Six, yeah,
Amazing.
16 hours of imaging,
Okay.
and maybe it will take another like 5 6 hours of post processing to stack all these things. Okay. And the
Amazing.
light frames, yeah, the light frames you capture it is um, like you will not have these colors in this. So
Okay.
you capture three kind of filters, data using three kind of filters, and
Okay.
through your post production software, you are going to substitute it for red, green, and blue. All these three data will be substituted for red, green, and blue, and you are mixing these colors, and you are producing these
Okay.
kind of colors in this.
Okay.
So this particular color pattern is called SHO, or Hubble's palette. Here,
Oh,
sulfur data will be mixed for red, hydrogen for green, and oxygen for blue. So this is
Okay.
the palette. So this is called the Hubble palette. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's go to the beginning. So when I said passion, uh, you see, like, you need to sit with your equipment on for like whole night,
Okay.
uh, and maybe the next night, and maybe the next night. When you are shooting faint nebulas, maybe you will be shooting. Sometimes you will go for 40 hours, 50 hours. It means like continuously, maybe like 3, 4 nights or five, 6 nights you can shoot. You have to see then you have to plan accordingly when your target is going to rise above the horizon, when it will be in the photography point, when it is going to set. So you need to do a proper planning of all these things. So you need more passion, more planning, and your equipment, and a dark sky. Okay. Luckily, actually, I am photographing from middle of the city in Doha. It is actually, Doha is considered as one of the most light polluted cities. But here I am using, the light pollution filters. These particular hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen are called narrow band filters. So these filters help you to avoid the city light pollution to some extent. Okay. So more passion, more than anything, you need too much of passion because you are going to sit sleepless nights. And after 4 or 5 days or 4 or 5 nights of imaging, sometimes when you sit for post processing, maybe you will not end up with a good image. And but still, if you have passion, you have to go back. This is the problem. So now, camera, any DSLR stock cameras can be used, or you can use modified cameras or dedicated astro cameras. So each has its advantages and disadvantages. Telescope, it is according to your necessity. Like if you want to capture a wide field, maybe you need a shorter focal length, and if you need like a, a target which is more far away or a small target, you need a longer focal length telescope, sturdy mount, or a tripod or a tracking mount. Tripod is used for mostly for wide field imaging, like for Milky Way, we are using tripods, and even for some kind of, like, for Orion Nebula, we are using Andromeda, we are using. It is possible for to do night sky imaging, for especially astrophotography with tripod, provided you have to you can do only very short exposures, like 1 second, 2 second exposures based on your focal length of the lens which you are using. And passion and planning, as I said. Now, so as I said, the DSLR and the CMOS cameras, CMOS or CCD cameras. Okay, so these are this is a tripod. The first one is the regular tripod with the ball head. The second one is the sky guider, and this is a tracking mount actually. This is a very basic sky tracking device, which is used for short exposures like 2 minutes, maximum of 2 minutes. It can track very nicely. In 2 to 3 minutes, it can track the sky very nicely. And the third one is an equatorial mount. It is called the German equatorial mount, and this is the one which I have.
The
With
third
this
one,
kind
the
of
white one, is it?
Yeah, the third one, yeah.
Okay.
With this particular mount, you can track the sky. Actually, I have tracked till 30 minutes for one image.
Okay.
For one shot, it will be like 30 minutes. I have tracked the sky without any star trails.
So when you say
But
tracking, meaning it will lock into the frame, since Earth and the space things subjects are moving, this device will help you to keep the frame exactly in the same place and will kind of make the necessary movements in whatever range that is required, right? I mean,
yes, yes, yes. It is
okay.
tracking. Okay, it is
Yeah.
tracking the sky. That means, like,
Yeah.
it will lock
No, I
to
mean, I was trying
yeah.
to make it a little idiot proof because, most of us, I'm assuming, are our regular Pixel Village viewers. We are into, regular photography, shooting people and stuff. So for us, tracking is an entirely different thing altogether. Hence, I was trying to make it, very, very idiot proof for our viewers. So that's why.
No, no. See,
Okay.
it is actually a very good question. Like tracking actually. See, there is two types of tracking. It is guided and unguided trackings. Okay. So
Okay.
these things I'll come along when we discuss about this, how we are doing this imaging.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. We have specialized guiding telescopes and unguided uh, mounts. So this is the
Sure.
third one is the German Equatorial mount. See, this is not a very expensive mount which I have. It will be like approximately maybe around less than $2,000.
Oh,
Um, yeah, of course, yeah, less than $2,000. But
mhm.
you have very expensive mount, like of course 20, 15, 20, $25,000 mounts are there.
Wow.
100 up
Okay.
to it ranges up to $100,000. We are
Okay.
not doing anything professionally, and those commercial things are not there. So
Okay.
this is contented. Actually, this is more than enough for me. I'm living with this,
Understand.
and you know, so wide field astrophotography, solar and lunar imaging, planetary photography, deep sky. I think we have discussed about this. So
Absolutely.
now, this is wide field astro. This is one example of wide field astrophotography. So this is like a Milky Way image which I have captured in 2018 from the middle of the desert in Qatar. Okay.
Okay.
And so this one is from Ladakh,
Okay.
and yeah, all these three from these are from Qatar actually. Here, the middle one has been shot when we had a sandstorm. So this was photographed, with the sandstorm and the Milky Way.
Mm.
I was
Oh,
very
that's a
lucky
rare one.
to, yeah, I
Mm.
was very lucky to get this shot. I was photographing with a friend of mine. We just wanted to do a Milky Way portrait, like
Mm.
with my friend. So we were doing um, some kind of testings and all these things. So by the time there was a very high sandstorm, and
Okay.
by luckily, we were able to photograph this image. And the third image in this is actually a tracked image of the Milky Way. So this one is a 8 minute tracked image. This was kept on the tracker, or like the sky guider, and photographed with a regular. It is with a Fuji XH1, if I remember. This was also photographed in 2018. And,
One question, Ajit.
yes.
Would you like to take questions as we go, or you'd like to take the questions at the end of the session? What would you prefer? Because there are
Um,
questions coming up. So, would you like to
we
discuss
can.
the question?
Meanwhile, we can discuss, no problem. We can.
All right. So, or maybe, the disadvantage of discussing questions simultaneously
It's
is that we will go on discussing and we'll never reach the end. Probably I think we should discuss take questions at the end. I think that'll be much better. Okay. Sorry, folks. We will take questions at the end of the session. Okay. I just hold on to your questions, please. Kind of throw them back at us at the end of the session and we'll answer that. Okay. Ajit,
Of
please
course,
go
fine.
ahead.
Yeah. So this is another example for a wild field astrophotography. This is the star trails. Maybe probably the Milky Way and star trails are very common, as you said, in astrophotography. This is considered as the wide field imaging.
Okay.
Then this was actually this is one of my favorite images, which I have shot in the middle of the desert here, because when I got all these colors popped up in the stars, I was feeling very happy. This is like how I have boosted up um, used the dynamic range of the camera to bring out the colors.
Okay.
This was shot with the Nikon D4 camera.
Oh,
One
okay.
tip for people who are planning to do a star trail is don't boost your ISO high. When you are boosting your ISO high, then you will lose the colors in the stars. So keep your ISO low, and while post processing, you can adjust your exposure there, so
Sure.
that
Sure.
you will get the colors back.
Sure.
So you have to reduce the shadows and reduce the blacks in that. So you will get the colors boosted up. Otherwise, you will lose the colors in the star trails.
Sure.
And solar and lunar imaging. See, this image of sun is photographed on a midday with my telescope. Of course, I don't own a solar imaging telescope. This is shot with a regular you know filter, solar filter on the telescope. So
Okay.
I could not get the prominences in this sun. When we are looking into solar imaging, we will see all the um, heat waves coming out from the sun. So these are called the
Okay.
prominences and of the chromosphere. So when
Okay.
for imaging that kind of photos, you have a special telescope called the
Okay.
solar telescopes.
Okay.
So you should own one of that, or there is some other system called Quark that will be
Okay.
added along with your telescope, between your telescope and the camera as like a filter, so that you will get the prominences in the sun. But
Understood.
unfortunately, I don't own it. No? So this
Understood.
is an image of a sun, and this is actually on the image of a moon on a total eclipse of the moon. It's on a lunar eclipse.
Okay.
This is uh, this is the moonscape. This is this image was shot with a 1500 focal length telescope,
Okay.
and the camera which I have used is having a what is it, a crop factor of 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like
7.
a
So it
tiny
means
mini
like,
small sensor.
yes, it's a very tiny
Okay.
sensor.
Okay.
So the focal length is like 1500 into 7.
Understood.
So this was
Understood.
shot with like that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And now there is another one information for people who are planning to do lunar imaging. See, usually
Okay.
what we do is we will take a single exposure of the moon. But when we are taking a single exposure of the moon, we will not be getting the details in the moon properly. Okay, because moon is not a stable object. Okay, so it keeps on moving. So when it is moving, and we will not be properly getting we will not be getting a sharp image of the moon. So to get a sharp image of the moon or sun, but I will not advise to photograph the sun with regular cameras. Okay. In the midday, maybe probably during sunrise, but still, it is not advised to focus on the sun with the regular DSLR without any protection. So what we do is, we will usually take videos, short clips like of the moon or the sun, say like 100 frames or 200 frames in your camera. In DSLR, you can take a short clip of the moon or sun. Then there are softwares which can which will allow you to stack all these frames as a single frame. So when you are taking a video, say like 100 frames, and if you are stacking all these 100 frames to one image, you will get a very sharp and detailed image.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So you shoot kind of 70 frames, like you said. How many frames did you say?
Maybe 100 frames, you can say.
100 frames. And then you stack it together, and the software will compensate for the small movement that may have cost and give you one composite image. And we are looking at one like that now because it's very sharp. I mean, it looks, like we say in Hindi, kadak, like
yes,
pretty sharp.
Yeah, very sharp.
All right. Okay, please carry on.
So this is actually a tip to do the moon. Same like that for planetary imaging. This is the image of Jupiter, which I have shot last year back.
Okay.
And this is Jupiter and Mars.
Okay.
And this is Saturn. All these are photographed from the middle of the city with lots of light pollution in the same with the same technique of um, how you shoot moon. You take a short clip, stack them,
Okay. Wow.
and you get this images. But the focal length which you are using should be very longer. In my case, I'm using the 1500 plus the 7x camera. So it's a very tiny sensor with a long focal length telescopes. But when you're using a 500 mm or a 600 mm lens with your camera, you can of course shoot um, even Saturn with its rings, but probably you will not get all this much of details in the image. But you can
Okay.
see the shape of the planet exactly similar. Only the
Okay.
details you will lack, but you can shoot a photograph of a planet through the regular
Okay.
DSLR with longer focal length.
Okay.
And the software, the software which I use to stack the planetary images is called as Auto Stacker. If
Auto.
I'll Auto Stacker, I'll spell it AUTOSTAKKERT.
All right. So I'm gonna quickly make a small banner and type it in. Say AUTO
STA
STA
K KERT.
CKER
No, KKERT.
AKERT Auto Stacker.
Yes, Auto Stacker. Yeah, and
Oh.
Registax. REGISTAX.
And Reggie
Stacks. STAX.
stacks. Okay. So
So
it's
these
coming
are the
onto your
two.
screen now. These are the two softwares that you use to capture, to stack the images captured as short movie clips and then create one single still image from it. Wonderful.
Of course.
Thank you for this
And these
information.
are,
It's very useful.
yeah. And these are actually like open source software. It is free, available on the
Oh,
internet,
it's
and you can
free
download.
too. Oh, wonderful.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. These two are
Wonderful.
free actually.
All right, great. So
And
AutoStackert and Registax is available free, guys. It's worth trying. It looks like if you have a nice small camera with a nice tele lens in it, I think it's you can do it. He seems to have done it from the middle of a very, very bright city like Doha, and which means we can also try. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Please continue.
yeah. So now we will go for deep sky imaging. Okay. Before that, I'll do one thing. I'll show you my equipments, what all I have. Okay. So,
Wonderful.
Mr. Raj, shall we switch over to my
Yeah,
the
the
other
second camera. Wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can switch
Let
over to
me
the second camera,
let
and
me
what
switch
we
over
will
to
do
my
is then you can explain. Wonderful. So I'm going to keep this thing away. So while Ajit is setting up his mobile phone with a gimbal, and he's going to take us through the second session, let me quickly thank everyone for joining us today on this. This is very rare. I mean, we've not really done any such sessions in Pixel Village, and I'm extremely happy to host Ajit. Yes. Joshua says, let me quickly, Joshua says, Tony and Chelsea have a video on how to use Registax. I've used it before, so wonderful. So there is also an information which says, in case if you would like to use, there's also a video which will tell you, which is by Tony and Chelsea, very, very popular, or one of the most popular YouTuber photography channel in the world, and they have so Google them, and you will get a video on how to use the software. Okay, and now Ajit is ready, so let me take Ajit on, and yeah, so there he is. He's showing his setup.
See, I have. Let me turn off this
Wonderful.
mic.
No, it is possible. I can hear you. It's perfectly fine.
All right. This is the telescope which I have started with. This one is only for viewing. This is not for imaging. This is
That's only for viewing and not for imaging.
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yes, this one I used for viewing.
Okay.
And this is a refractor telescope on a manual EQ mount. It is a German Equatorial mount, but it is manual one.
Okay.
And this one is my SCT. It is called the Smith-Cassegrain telescope. And this kind of mount is called the altitude azimuth mount. Okay. This mount is not usually used for long exposure imaging, but for planetary imaging, we can use this.
Okay.
So this is the one which I have used. This is the telescope which I have used for imaging the planets. So this is the one which has a 1500 mm focal length.
And where is the sensor? I mean, where's the camera? Where does the camera sit? Or is it with the camera?
I will show you the camera, the other one. Okay.
Sure.
So this one is my other setup. So this is called a center balanced mount. And this is my regular photography setup. Now I'm using this.
Okay.
So this is the one which I have shown,
Okay.
This is a Skywatcher EQ6R Pro.
Okay.
And this is the telescope which I am using for imaging now. So this telescope is 714 mm in focal length, and this is the autofocuser. This is a camera.
Okay.
This is a camera which I am using.
Okay, wonderful.
And this is the filter wheel. This is a filter wheel where you have 8 filters in this.
Okay.
And this is the field flattener, which is used for correcting the optical issues. Like there is called. I will show you some of the issues without the flattener.
Sure.
And this is my guiding telescope.
Okay.
And this is the guide camera.
Okay.
So this is the telescope which will capture a particular star, and this will send the information to the mount so that the mount will keep tracking the star.
Understood.
So when we image, say for example, it will start with in this position, and maybe it will go like this.
Wow. Okay. But it'll of course it'll do on its own. It'll do on its own.
It will go on its own.
Okay.
So it will.
Wonderful.
So this is how it tracks the sky. So when you start like this, finally you will end up like this.
Okay. Understood.
This is according to the subject which you are photographing and in which part of the sky it is. All these things are decided.
Wonderful.
So this is called the German Equatorial mount.
Okay.
And this is called as a center balance, a CEM mount.
Okay.
Here actually the center of gravity will be like this. Let's say. See, it will be like this actually. It will be moving like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Only.
No. It goes in both directions.
Okay.
Both axes actually will be going, but the movement pattern is different. So this also will go like this, but the pattern is different.
Okay. Wonderful. So you select these devices according to the type of photography that you're going to be doing, right? Or how far into the space that you're going to look into. How do you select which camera that you're going to use for a particular shot?
See, this is a color camera. This is a color camera. This is a monochrome camera.
Okay.
For this, I am using the filters, but there is no filters in this.
Okay.
And this is the camera which I have used for photographing the planets.
Okay.
As I told, it's a very small sensor, and this is used as the guide camera in this telescope.
Understood. The actual photograph was taken using the one on the lower back, the one which is attached
this one.
to the
actual
lens.
photograph will be taken back from this.
Okay, wonderful. Okay.
And this is like a mini computer. This will control the camera. The camera's cold. Actually, the temperature, the sensor temperature, the focuser, the guiding. Everything will be controlled by this. And you can operate this using a tab.
Using a what?
A tablet or a mobile phone.
Oh yeah. Okay, a mobile device or a computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can control this. Here I don't have that because I use this as a permanent setup, and I'll be using a laptop connected with this.
All right. Okay.
So these are the equipment which I am using.
Wow. That's quite a bit. Now you know why you shifted your home.
And I have an observatory which I have not set up yet here. When I
you have an
move,
observatory too. All right.
yeah.
So did you take up the top floor of an apartment building purposely to kind of probably
it's a
get
villa.
access?
It's
Oh,
a
it's
whole
a villa. So you have, oh, wonderful. You're a
I
rich
have
man
my
anyway.
own
So.
rooftop.
Wonderful. You have your own rooftop. You have your own observatory. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Great.
of course. Actually, this telescope, this one is my daughter's telescope. She is using that.
Okay.
She's also doing astrophotography. She's a
Oh, is
beginner
she?
in that now. Yeah.
Wonderful. Can we introduce her also to our viewers? If she would
Yeah,
like
of
to come
course.
on screen and say
she's the
hi.
one.
Hello.
Say
Hi.
hi.
What's your name?
You can introduce it.
Fiona. Hello, Fiona. We everyone from Pixel Village. I mean, we wish you a fantastic photography future. All right. I mean, you have a teacher and a mentor, everyone at home. So wonderful. You are really lucky. So make full use of it. Also, of course, study very well. All right. Thank you very much, Fiona. All the best. Bye-bye. All right. Okay. So we are now back with Ajit. Ajit, you can continue. Thank you.
So we'll go with the presentation. So as I showed you, there are two types of cameras, which is monochrome and color. Okay. Usually,
Okay.
monochrome cameras are the one I am using the most because
Okay.
monochrome has a lot of flexibility, but color we don't have that much of flexibility because in mono you use all the separate filters and you photograph each color separately. But in color sensor, you get all the data together, and it is really hard to like work out with that. But there is like it for a beginner or to start up with as an amateur, a color camera is fantastic because you don't have the complications of all these monochrome images.
Okay.
So to the steps involved when we are starting with the deep space imaging is, when you have a equatorial mount, you have to do the polar alignment first. This is first step. You have to make sure that your equatorial mount knows that it is it is facing towards the north and it is facing towards the Polaris. That's the pole star. The second one is called plate solving. Usually, like in olden days, what they do is they will take what is it, like a plate, okay, and they will point the stars. And whenever they take an image, they will cross check with this particular plate. So this process is called plate solving. So now what it becomes is the software does the plate solving. For Y is to check whether we are on our exact target. Say for example, if I want to photograph the Orion Nebula and I don't know whether we are exactly on the particular target. So we will take an image, then we will have a you know existing database of images of Orion Nebula, and the software will check whether this particular image we have taken is matching with the existing database. So it will identify all the stars and analyze it, and it will plate solve. If our image is away from the existing database, then uh, the software will give a information or pulse to the mount to go further to this exact point, so that we will be exactly focusing on the particular target which we want. Okay, this is called plate solving. Actually, it will be like, um, French and Arabic. I don't know. Maybe it is very, very more technical. All these terms are right. Uh, you have any doubt in plate solving?
No, I mean it's very clear, because since you're looking at into the deep space and you don't have any references, you actually take a picture. It's like the MRI scan. So once they
Yes.
scan, they actually kind of match it with an existing reference, and then they kind of figure out whether everything is right or wrong, or if it's wrong,
Of
what do you
course,
have
of
to do, and
course.
things like that. So it's
Yes.
kind of, you use references. Perfect. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, third thing which we do is framing. Okay. See that the target actually will be like in the sky. Um, when it moves in the sky, like it is that the camera have to move according to the particular angle in which the sky or the stars move. Okay, of course, the stars are not moving; the Earth is moving. Okay, so it will be like the rotation of the um, what to say the rotation of the stars or the rotation of the nebula or the galaxy in the sky. Okay, so to frame it, there is particular some guiding assistance in the software which will allow you to guide to frame the target with the existing database frames. um, how much degree of angles you have to rotate the camera, or like how much tilt you have. All these things will be notified by the software, so you adjust everything based on the software's what is it like
Understood.
yeah, software's information which you get from the
Yeah.
software. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So now here comes the major things you call the light frames and calibration frames. Okay.
Okay.
Every photograph which we are going to see here will have yeah, will have uh, light frames and the calibration frames involved in this. Okay. Of course,
Okay.
this photograph is taken with a stock DSLR.
Okay.
This image is um, photographed with the Nikon D4 and a 500 mm lens on the tracker.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is but a narrowband image. This is like hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. All the three, uh, what do you say? Like all the three filters has been used in this. Okay,
Okay.
and the calibration frames. Okay. So you see,
Okay.
this is the information in a hydrogen alpha filter. This is how you get one
On
filter,
plate.
the one that yeah
Uh,
one plate. Okay, not one plate actually. Of course, this is almost 6 hours of data. Okay,
yeah. Now, what I'm saying
this
is,
one.
so you have three such images, so which will substitute for R, G, and B, then create one
Of
image. Is what
course,
that?
of
Yeah.
course, of course,
Sure.
of course, of course. So this is
So
one
this is
one
one composite
color.
plate of
Yeah, this
hydrogen.
is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hydrogen alpha plate.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So this is how it will be, and this is actually calibrated image. Uncalibrated image will be totally messy, because there will be light leaks around. Um, all this, all some imperfections of vignetting, everything will be there. Okay. So
Okay.
this will be calibrated. The light frames will be calibrated with the dark frames, bias frames, and the flat frames. Okay. So we will see like these are four types of calibration frames are there. One is darks, bias, flats, and flat darks. Okay.
Okay.
The darks are like how you photograph is according to the exposure length of your light frame. Say, for example, if you are photographing for 5 minutes of light, then you have to photograph 5 minutes of dark frames with all the settings, same as the light frame with your lens cap covered. So it will give a dark image, um, leaving only the noise information. Okay. To know about all these calibration frames, first we have to know what are the um, noise types which is available in the sensor. There are two types of noise: thermal noise and what is that? Sensors, sensor noise. That is the actual sensor has a noise, okay, and there is
Yes.
thermal noise when which is when you are photographing long exposures, because of the heat produced in the sensor, you will get the thermal noise. The other one is the read noise, which is um, from the manufacturer. There will be a particular amount of noise for each sensor. Okay. The read noise will be calibrated using the bias frames, and the thermal noise will be calibrated using the dark frames. Then every optics will be having a vignetting property. Okay. Other than our high-end lenses, because lenses are like more components will be inside, so they are and most expensive. These telescopes are not very expensive like our 500 or 600 lenses which we use. This particular telescope which I use is of 714 This is approximately around $2,000, and this one will be having a what do you say, like um, vignetting around the frame. Mr. Radha, can you give me one second? I'll just plug in my
Sure.
battery.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Perfect. People, I think it's like me sitting in a maths class. A completely new information. But what I understood is that you need to have real passion. And all the investment. When as photographers, as wedding photographers, we talk about investment and there's no return, and competition and things like that. I mean, when you look at what Ajit is doing, it's all about passion and the kind of that money. Of course, you need to invest, but the time that he's investing in two things. One is to learn. Okay, one is to learn the subject, because without proper understanding of what to look and where to look and things like that, you will not shoot anything. One. Second is the technique that is involved in it, all the technical terminologies and what each one does is definitely something requires slightly more than passion. I mean, it's not just passion. It's like passion, dedication. You also require, I think, to be a little, slightly. What's the right word? To be a little.
Nuts.
You to be a nutcase, to kind of really follow something like this, and knowing that there is probably not any commercial return. It's like wildlife photography. At least these days, there are so many wildlife photographers, and they've some of them have started making some money out of it. And here in this case, and Ajit, and plus the publications are far and few. The community is very small. The kind of stuff that you have to do requires like 15, 20 hours, staggered across, probably a week or 2 weeks to create one image. That's amazing. So wonderful. Yes. Shall we share the image?
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful. So the image is on the screen now.
See, this is the image of what is it? Andromeda Galaxy. Okay.
Okay.
This was shot on this is a broadband target. Actually, usually there are two types of targets, something called narrowband targets and broadband targets. Okay. These galaxies are called as broadband targets. The broadband targets means you will get the information as RGB. Okay. The broadband targets are RGB, and the narrowband targets are like SHO, sulfur, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay. You
Okay.
cannot shoot a broadband target with a narrowband filter. The
Okay.
frequencies are different. The
Okay.
light coming from these particular targets are different.
Okay.
Okay, so you cannot shoot, so you should know your subject first, what you are going to
Mm.
shoot, how faint is
Mm.
the object, what is actually the light coming from there. Okay, you
Mm.
have, um, some in some cases, like even in my beginning, when I was beginning this photography, I used to sit hours and hours exposing, and finally I didn't get any, I won't get anything because you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know your subject. Maybe
Yeah.
sometimes you will sit with your narrowband filters on a broadband target. And
Okay.
finally, after 3, 4 hours, you will come to know, why you will really, you will analyze why you are not getting any information. You will Google through, or you call your friend, or somehow, and finally, you will come, after all your research, you will come to know that, come on, yeah, the filter which you are using is different for this target. So you
Yeah.
will end up something like that. So this one is you're shot with 5 filters. Okay, this broadband image. This is having luminance filter, red
Okay.
filter, green filter, blue filter, and hydrogen alpha filter.
Okay.
Okay, here you see the red colors in this in the black the cracks which you have in this. In the contrast area, you have some red information. So this red
Mm.
information is the hydrogen alpha signal. Okay,
Okay.
and rest of the things you get separately. And this is like around 7 hours of imaging uh, of the Andromeda galaxy.
Okay.
And this one is a Pinwheel Galaxy, which I have photographed in the beginning stages, and similar like Triangulum. It is like in 2018, no, 2000, yeah, early 2018. I have shot these images,
Mm.
and this is a Horsehead Nebula. This is also a very old image. This Orion, Horsehead, these are all the beginners' targets.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is called the Thor's helmet.
Okay.
And this one is major part of this. The blue color, the blue color is mainly in the oxygen filter. Okay, so when you see a blue image, a broadband image, you will come to a conclusion. Oh, of course, this has more oxygen data, and the red will be here like sulfur, so less sulfur. Okay, and green, of course, you need in a normal range, so that when you mix red and green, you will get some like red and green. What you will get? Blue? No. Yellow? No. You should know all these color wheels to mix the colors, and finally,
Yeah.
finally you will get all this. It's like an art. So that's why when you see all these images, you maybe my color pattern will not be similar to a different person of the same target, because the each person's uh, color sensitivity is different, so you
Yeah.
mix it with your taste. So this is how it comes out. So this is Eastern Whale Nebula. This is actually a bicolor image. This is called a bicolor image. As I said earlier, it was 3 colors like sulfur, hydrogen, oxygen. It's the Hubble palette. Similar to that, you have a bicolor imaging. You have only 2 filters involved in this. That is hydrogen and oxygen. So in this palette, how you mix is hydrogen, oxygen, oxygen. So red for hydrogen, oxygen for both green and blue. So this is another palette in which you mix the colors. So these are all this SHO or Hubble's palette and this HOO palette. These are standard color palettes which the astronomers or astrophotographers use. This comes from especially mostly from the Hubble telescope. The images which has been shot from Hubble telescope is processed in this pattern, in this color pattern. That's how it gets the name Hubble palette.
Okay.
So this is bicolor image of Eastern Whale, and this is again the Western Whale Nebula. Okay. So actually, I should have rotated the image. This looks like a face mask when you rotate it. That's why it's called as a veil. This one, the Eastern Whale, looks like a face mask when you rotate the image. Like when you put it up vertical, it will look like
Correct.
a face mask. That's why it's called as a Arab. It's called as the veil, Arabic veil. The face mask. So that's why it's called as veil nebula. So this one is the Western veil.
Okay.
This is also a bicolor image. So this is a bicolor image of a monkey head nebula.
Okay.
Same, I have recently shot a monkey head nebula on tricolor palette. So this is the one of that. This is the SHO palette of the monkey head nebula. That was shot like a year, 2 years back, and this is one of my recent images. So each image will be like this. This one was around this image was like 6 hours. Most of my images will be 6 or 9 hours imaging. This is 9 hours, and this is 6 hours image. This is called the Pacman Nebula. So this looks like a Pac-Man.
Yeah.
This is
The video game.
the video game Pac-Man. So this one is called as the Pacman Nebula. So all these names are being given already by Messier, Charles Messier, or so many people. They are giving the names. They gave the names, so we are following that names. And see, this is called as the Rosette Nebula. Unfortunately, I have to go back to this nebula. I need to gather more data because this is the old image. You see, here in this image you will find, you see, there are noise like black dots in the image. Here that means here in this image lacks data. This has very less data. So you need to acquire more data for this. So one advantage of this astrophotography is you can add more data to this own image. Okay. So
because you've already captured the digital data. You need to go and shoot it again, and then add one more plate to it.
Yes, of course. So see, recently a friend of mine, a Facebook friend, and is like a mentor to me. It's called JP Messis now. Maybe recently you might have seen all across the web about a Milky Way. A person shot a Milky Way 1,200 hours in 12 years. Maybe it became a topic of talk all around. It's like he has shot last 12 years. He has taken the whole Milky Way with each plates. Everything will be detailed imaging. Not like the Milky Way what we have shot. We are shooting. So each portion is taken like this. So to finish the whole Milky Way, he has taken 1,200 hours. So for one image, it took 1,200 hours.
Wow.
So it's in a span
he shot it, instead of shooting the entire Milky Way in one go, he shot portions of it, and each one took many hours to take, and then he tiled them together and then created one composite image. Wow.
Yes.
It's not stacking, it is tiling. Wow. Okay.
Yes. So it is like, 1,200 years. Sorry, hours
The
in
hours
12
of
years. Yeah.
images. So it
Hour-
is one hell of a heavy image, but lots of details in it.
Of course.
Wonderful.
So,
Okay.
like
Understood.
that, you can add data in this.
Yeah.
So maybe next year, if I feel like, okay, I can add more data, I can go and photograph with the same,
Coordinates.
frame. Yeah, in the same coordinates, with the same angle. You can
Yeah.
photograph and you can add the data above this.
Understood.
So this will
Understood.
get more details. Okay. This is the advantage of astrophotography rather than the usual other kind of our regular
Yeah.
photography.
Though I know it's damn tough. You're making it sound so simple, but I know that it is damn tough.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is
Sure.
advantage actually, but see, initially to begin with, it is really tough. Okay, it is really
Mm.
tough. It is not that very easy to start with, but once you are getting into it, uh, later stages, maybe like after 3 years or 4 years, you will be feeling very easy, because you will be having a setup which is very handy for you, and you have all your equipment put together. You have your software set up. Maybe you can turn on your software, turn on your system, and actually the computer will do the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but if there is any issues, the troubleshooting, that is a big part in this.
Mm.
Troubleshooting plays the major role. The
Mm.
first step of polar alignment, it took me 6 months to master it initially. Now I do
Okay.
it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Now I do it in two
Understood.
minutes, but it took me 6 months to study actually the polar alignment. Okay. But now I do it in 2 minutes time.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So this is how once you come across the things, it will be very easy. Then this is one of the recent photographs of California Nebula. Actually, again, this frame is also a little bit, if you are tilting it a little bit on 45-degree angle, you will see it will look like the California state of USA,
Oh,
the
okay.
shape. Okay. That's why it is
Okay.
called as California Nebula.
Okay.
And this one is shot from a bottle 4 sky. That means a little bit darker sky, not like from the city. I have taken my equipment to the dark sky and I have photographed from there. And this is like only 4 hours of data. So this is the, in 4 hours, you can get this much of data from a dark site, from a
Mm.
bottle 4 sky or bottle 2 sky, like where you this bottle is the sky magnitude.
Mm.
You will you say like, yeah, you will measure the brightness in the sky in bottle scale.
Mm.
It is from bottle 1 to bottle 9.
Okay.
Bottle 1 is the dark sky and bottle 9 is the bright sky.
Okay.
So, for example, Ladakh is in bottle 1 scale and Doha is in bottle 9 scale.
Okay. Oh, so
So,
one is the dark, one is
yeah,
dark, and
one is the
nine as
darkest.
okay. Mm.
Yeah. Now, 9
Lesser
is
the
the
number,
brightest.
darker the sky. Higher the
Yes,
number, brighter the sky. Okay.
yes. And
Sure.
when you say like bottle 4 or 2 or 3, 2, it will get, you get plenty of data.
Mm.
Even in 10 minutes, you will get plenty of data than you are shooting from the bright sky. So that's
Understood.
why people choose to go to dark site to photograph.
Understood.
So photographing from dark site is much easier than photographing from the middle of the city.
Sure. Understood.
So yes,
Just
this is
just for like it's a
yeah.
stupid layman's question. What's the resolution of those sensors that you're using?
This is a 16-bit camera.
Sorry,
16-bit, 16 megapixel.
Six,
Sorry, 16
16
megapixel. Yeah,
megapixel.
yeah, 16
16
megapixel.
megapixel
It
shoot,
is like
and it shoots.
four.
It shoots raw data, and then you process
Uh,
it.
yeah, it shoots raw data, but it is actually in a different format called FITS format, FITS. That's the format
Okay.
here.
Okay. Sure.
So here, this one is jellyfish. The resolution of the camera is like I think 4656 by 3520, something like that. The sensors, it differs to sensor. No?
Yeah, I understand. Understand.
Yeah.
You can play it if
So
you want to
now,
share that image. You just play it, please.
yeah, doing it here. So this is called the Jellyfish Nebula. This looks very
Okay.
pretty when it is in a. This is actually a widescape target, but because my telescope is 714 and it could capture only this much of size. So what if I need to have the whole nebula? Maybe I need to go for a mosaic. So I have to capture as a 2 by 2 matrix or 3 by 3 matrix
Mm, mm, yeah.
in 6 plates, and then I have to
Mm,
mosaic them all to get the
mm,
full nebula. So this is the core of the
understood.
jellyfish. Yeah.
Okay, understood.
And this is a crab nebula. This is a very tiny nebula, and this is shot with the same focal length in 714. So this is a very beautiful target in the sky. This one is I think 16 hours of data. This one, this crab nebula is. This
Understood.
is
Wow.
the flaming star nebula. Actually, this is called
Hmm.
this. So that's why I have put this, the crosshairs in the stars. Actually, when you
Okay.
are photographing, you will not get all these star streaks. This is
Okay.
all added. This is
Oh, you
in
add
post
them.
processing
Okay.
to
Okay.
give to attract the viewer. Like this is because
Yeah.
it's called flaming star. Okay,
Okay.
this nebula is called as the flaming star. So I added that here,
Okay.
and this is called the Dolphin Nebula.
Ah,
You see
okay.
the head of it is it
Yeah, almost like a
it
head
is
of a
it's
dolphin.
almost
Yeah.
the head of the dolphin. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so this one is blue, and the most of the data in this is oxygen. So you go
Okay.
for a hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. But oxygen, say in this target, actually, what you will do is this kind of targets. You will come to know what is the major gas which you are photographing. So according to that, you will increase the number of data, hours of data in that particular filter. So here
Okay.
the hydrogen and sulfur data are less and oxygen data is more. Even though like maybe it is like 12 hours of data. So 2 hours of hydrogen, 2 hours of sulfur, and rest 8 hours of oxygen.
Okay.
So it is
Okay.
like that. So 12 hours. And plus the calibration frames.
Understood.
And this is the bubble nebula. That's the heart which we have explained.
Yeah, we did that.
Monkey head. And this is called the skull and the crossbones. You can see the skull on the left hand in the
Okay.
corner. It shapes like a skull, and the crossbones. It's called the skull and the crossbones nebula. This is
Mm,
one of the
mm,
newer target which I have shot.
mm,
And this is 16 hours of data in this.
mm, mm.
This is actually the Soul Nebula. Okay, so here, this also is a SHO palette, sulfur, hydrogen, and oxygen. This is a shot maybe in 2019. I have 2020, early 20s. I have photographed. One
Okay.
thing is like with this images, when you accumulate more images and when you are processing skills, when you keep on
Mm,
processing skill improve, your images will get better. So you have to.
okay.
So this is like more like Both you have to do it like equal importance, your imaging
Mm,
and processing skills.
mm,
Processing
mm,
skills is, you can say, at more than imaging, maybe you can say till 60% of your creative processing skill. How you are mixing your
mm,
colors. That is the major thing
mm.
here. It comes up.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
So now,
Yeah,
yeah,
we can take questions.
yeah. Shall we take questions?
Yeah, wonderful. So first, let me thank you for sharing us and taking us to another world. I mean, it was like watching a sci-fi movie. Just one dumb question: which is the farthest, object that you have captured in terms of distance?
I have photographed the, say, like now, Leo triplets. Okay, it is
So that's
a group
that's
of galaxies that is
okay.
11 million light years.
11 million light years.
Light years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So it's beyond comprehension. So it's just an amazing feeling that you are with your tiny device, which is with you. You are looking, probably you are looking in the past. I mean, the event may have. I mean, which means that light or that particular ray of light or frequency has emanated from there and traveled through space, and it took 11 million years to reach into your camera. Correct? I mean, that's when you recorded it.
Yes.
11
Maybe
million light years. 11 million light years.
light years. Yes. Yeah.
That
That is
too,
the
assuming
distance
that
actually.
it has traveled at the speed of light.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. I mean, it is
So
it is
maybe,
amazing. So one,
maybe
yeah,
that is
please
not
go.
there now. Maybe it is
Yeah,
not there
that's
now.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's done deal. I mean, it's you
Yeah.
look back, it's gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And you keep reading about these kind of images, and suddenly they realize that there was an explosion, but explosion happened so many, whatever, mm, I don't know, time, so much
Supernova.
time
Supernova.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's done and gone. It doesn't exist anymore, and yeah, okay. That reminds me of some Christopher Nolan movies, and I mean, wonderful. So, why do you select the SHO? Is there a reason why you select only sulfur, hydrogen, and oxygen? Is there any particular reason?
See, actually, most of the gases which is there in the universe, like what we understood, we humans, we have understood, like, it is mostly sulfur, hydrogen, and oxygen. We do not know.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, as a photographer, I have not gone much deeper about
Into the science
research on
aspect
this,
of it.
on the science
Understood.
aspect. Yeah, I've done
Yeah.
mostly in the photography part. Okay.
All right.
Astrophysics part is
All right.
different. That goes in cosmology and all those things. I'm very weak in this.
Yes.
So usually sulfur, hydrogen, oxygen. That is the palette which the Hubble telescopes photographs have been
Okay.
processed.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
use that as a standard.
Okay. Okay.
So that's
All
why
right.
we use sulfur, hydrogen, and oxygen.
Wonderful. All right. So with that, I think we will now move into question and answer session. So if friends, if you have questions, please, this is the time to ask. And let me also see if there are. mm, uh, yeah, so let me take one of the early questions that came up. It's from Joshua. Joshua is from Australia, from Canberra, and his question is, that picture of that the desert storm, and there's a man in the middle, and then there is Milky Way on top. You remember there was a question, there was an image of Milky Way that you shared. That
Yeah.
particular image right at the middle also had a man, and there is a little bit of a desert, like a sandstorm, kicking up. Now, his
Yeah.
question is, how did you manage the exposure of the ground and the sky? Because it's one image. So how did you manage that?
See, actually, that particular image is that's a single image. Actually, I don't do much of composite in Milky Ways. Okay.
Yeah.
So that one has been exposed because it's a wide angle lens. It was exposed for I think 20 seconds, and my friend, he was standing still, and I was giving an external lighting, with my I
Okay.
think I
Okay.
was using my mobile phone torch to light up his
Okay.
body. Okay, and we are shooting
Okay.
it.
So it is technically, I mean, it was pitch dark. So the
Yeah,
camera is stationary. Then you kind of used a lot, and obviously the Milky
it's
Way
like a light
takes
painting.
much longer time to expose. So during which time you used your phone to kind of light up the foreground and your subject, and probably the city lights exposed a little bit of the sandstorm which is kicking up on the left of the image, and then of course you also got the Milky Way. I suppose
Yes.
that may be the answer.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that was the light
Lots
painter
of
actually.
people,
Yeah.
lots and lots of people have really used the word superb. They are like mesmerized by the images. And I
Thank
also
you.
said, in the beginning, I said, well, what we have seen is star trails and, Milky Way, but this is like looking deep into the space, like 11 million light years, which is like, I don't even want to think. And the technology and the equipments. Okay, now let's look at if we have a question from Vivek Joshi. Which are the light pollution filters you spoke about, and where are these available? Also, are these filters compatible with normal DSLR mirrorless camera lenses?
Of course, the light pollution filters, like the one which I use is circular filters. Okay, those are mine is Bother filters. Okay, neodymium filters. Okay, but the ones which we use for the regular modified DSLRs, those are clip-in filters. I prefer to go for the astronomic filters. The manufacturer called Astronomic, okay, or I think a few other manufacturers, they have their clip-in filters for the um, DSLRs, modified DSLRs, where you can just, if you are seeing the certain lenses, you have a drawer for filter, right? Like our 500 Nikon, it has a filter drawer. You can add a
Yes,
filter inside it. Okay,
correct,
similar to
correct.
that. You will have a clip-in area where you can add your filter, light pollution filter, in front of your in sensor. Okay, or
Sure.
there is a where there is another kind which you can fix it above the sensor.
Okay.
So this
Now,
major brands are
are,
like yeah, it is astronomic filter. Yeah.
okay. So, and are they very easily available? Would you know whether they are available in India?
In India, I'm not sure. Actually, even in Qatar, we don't have it. I am
Ah,
actually buying everything online from USA or Europe, because most
all
of the
right.
photographers are concentrated in Europe, and photographers and manufacturers are concentrated.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. So the next question is from Kerim. Kerim is from Turkey. Kerim is asking a question. Can you give me an astrophotography lens recommendation? Uh, yeah.
This is
So
a
thank you,
this is
Kerim, for tuning in from Turkey and also asking a question.
this is a tough question actually. Uh, because it depends on the target which you are going to photograph. Usually,
Yes.
14 lens we use for Milky Ways. Okay, I have photographed with 50 lens. I have photographed Milky Way with 50 lens, like as a panorama, and there are 135 lenses for which they are using for wide field, like the Orion Nebula, they are using 135 mm. But mostly for deep space imaging, I have seen people are using 135 mm lenses. I think it is Sigma lenses they are using it mostly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. I hope you got your answer. The next question is Ashish Vengurlekar is asking, now, Ashish is a commercial photographer, he's a wedding photographer, so he definitely wants to know kitna milega, So he was asking, what are the scope of commercial returns in this photography?
If
Yeah.
it is, so far I have not seen the commercial aspect of this photography, but I think it will give you a very nice returns maybe once if you are recognized and when, you know, for
Publications
publications.
start asking for your images to publish, and those are high paying,
Of
probably
course. Now,
opportunities.
recently I have given a few of my photographs for a publisher in Dubai, and hopefully we are expecting that it's a coffee table magazine. Hopefully, we are expecting it to be by mid of June. It will be published.
Wonderful. Okay. So yes, after being in the business for a few years, he has started seeing some returns. So Ashish, first thing you have to leave Bombay, because Bombay comes under the light pollution number 22. Not even 10. So never, you need to probably retire and go away to some hills and then start photographing, and you will not be able to return for about a week, because he's talking about long exposures which will run into many days. Okay. Wonderful. Lekha Ram. Lekha is from, Lekha said she's from Kerala. Thank you, Lekha, for tuning in. You asked a question saying how much what? So if you can just explain, I'll try and answer. Rather, we will try and answer. Okay, there is one more question from Vivek Joshi. You also mentioned about small sensors with high focal length which you use. Can a mobile phone be used for the same, and there is any compatible lenses for such shots? So basically his question is, you are getting that enormous focal length because of the small size of the sensor, and a mobile phone sensor incidentally uses similar size sensors. So can you convert your mobile phone for astrophotography? If yes, are there any lenses available?
See, actually, usually people they do kind of photography using mobile phones. Um, See, I particularly I didn't remember the name. It is photographing through the eyepiece. Okay, so there is mobile phone holder which can be connected to your telescope, and you can keep your mobile phone without like without any vibration,
Movement.
uh,
Yeah.
and without any vibration, or because a slight vibration will give a enormous disturbance in the image. Okay, over the eyepiece people are keeping it and taking photographs, and sometimes it comes out, it comes good. I have never tried it actually.
Oh, you've not tried it.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically possible, but we need to do a little bit of research on how to make it possible. I'm sure it is somebody in some corner of the world may be making a small contraption which will enable you to convert your mobile phone into an astrophotography device. Currently Ajit is not really aware of it, because you saw the kind of stuff he's using. He's already doing PhD. We are still in kindergarten, so probably that's the reason why he's unable to answer that. What are the questions? Ashish, yes, it says it looks like it's millions. many millions of rupees of investment, years investment, retirement plan. I'm looking at and what else you showed started in the beginning, how to point. All right. So this next from Sudarshan Rao, you showed a star trail image in the beginning. How to point at the center, how to point and how to find the center point.
See, this is a bit of basic astronomy. This is not astrophotography, how to find a star. Actually, there is maybe when you are pointing towards your camera towards the north or the Polaris. Okay, there is in two ways I used to find out the um, the North Pole. But earlier, when I was shooting star trails, there are applications, free applications which you can download in the internet in your mobile phone, say like Skyview or Google Sky Map. There are some softwares which are allowing you the augmented reality. So you can point your mobile phone and over onto the sky, and you can identify which star it is, or which galaxy it is, which DSO it is on that particular region. Okay, similar to that. So if you are pointing your mobile phone on towards the north, you will get the Polaris. Okay, the Polaris is a star which you have to be, which has to be centered in the uh, uh, screen in your camera, so that you will get all other stars circling around this um, Polaris.
Okay. Um, so now, but I mean, that makes me wonder how you used to do photography before all this, apps and stuff, mobile devices, kind of giving you this, so-called augmented reality overlays. How do you used to really find out? You're looking into an absolute darkness, and of course, there are stars, but and also, how do you used to look into this deep space without the help of
That is
all
more easy.
these?
Yeah. You see, for me, actually, if it is now, it is more easy to find the Polaris. There is like two. We are looking into the two constellations. Okay, one
Okay.
is the Big Dipper, and the other is the Cassiopeia. Actually, Big Dipper is a summer target, and Cassiopeia is a winter target. Winter target. Actually, in winter, when Cassiopeia comes up, you will find the Polaris guiding through that. Or in summer, when the Big Dipper is up, you will find out the Polaris um, from guiding from the Big Dipper. So this is a bit kind of tricky with astronomy, but this is the first step of astronomy to find the Polaris and the Big Dipper and the Cassiopeia. So it is like there are plenty of videos in the internet, because as I told, I'm a totally self-taught photographer, and final stages, maybe like last few, sometimes I used to get some advices from people like some good photographers. They are giving me advices, but in the early stages, there was very less people to guide me or to teach me, or
Mm.
so
Mm.
so most of my knowledge is gained from YouTube.
Understood. Of course. Saurabh Nandedkar is asking, is there any beginner telescope and tripod for a DSLR to do astrophotography? Can you suggest any beginner telescope and tripod?
Um, See, this is like initially, uh, the f- initially I will not suggest a telescope, uh, because when you have a telescope, then you should go for tracking mounts. So if you are very serious into, if you are planning to be very serious into astrophotography, then you can give a try with a star tracker like a guiding sky guider, or there are few manufacturers which they give very nice stuff like Sky Watcher. They have a Sky Guider. They have a Sky Watcher. That's a brand. They have something called Sky Guider Pro. Yeah, Sky Guider Pro. Then iOptron, they have Sky Tracker, Sky Guider Pros. So these are these are one of these two are some good manufacturers for tracking mounts. Very small, tiny mount in which you can keep your cameras. Like it can hold up to 4 or 5 kilograms of load, and it can easily track the sky without any guiding or any software or anything. It's very simple to use, and approximately the price will be less than $500 for the tracker. Yeah, less than $500, and you should have a sturdy tripod. um, that will cost you like maybe like 15,000 rupees, and Sky Guider will be 100% enough. And a basic DSLR, um, I really don't, like last few years, I'm not into this DSLR.
Yeah, but any good DSLR will
Any
you
good
will be able to
DSLR will
mark.
do. Yeah, any good
Sure,
DSLR with a little bit faster lenses will be very nice.
sure. Okay. Now, the question from MHT is saying, did you photograph the Great Conjunction? Being an astrophotographer that you must have been, that must have been a spectacle for you, I presume.
That is a good question, actually.
Yeah.
More than see, some of the events which I'm not astro event photographer. Okay, but in fact I was on live for the whole conjunction period from my observatory in my Instagram and Facebook. Okay, so
Okay.
the live of the conjunction is still in my Instagram
Okay.
feed. Okay, but photograph, actually I didn't take it. I was going live with that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's Ajit's Instagram feed. You can go there and follow, watch the work that he is doing. Well, we are trying to get an event photographer, by the way. I'm sure Ajit also will know Premjit Narayan from Bahrain. And I was speaking to him this afternoon, and he's got a little busy. Otherwise, he would have come on the show. But we are trying to get him, to do a session. He is an event photographer. He's done tons of these events. Some spacecraft passing in front of sun, and too much. He's done lots of such stuff. He also is a sports photographer, so I'm hoping to host him one of these days in Pixel Village. So at that time, you will get to ask this question to him. So Ajit, as he said, is not an event photographer. So yeah, he saw that. All right.
Yeah. And
The next, yeah, please go ahead.
in fact, actually, my first telescope was suggested by Premjit.
I'm sorry.
The first telescope which I bought was been suggested by Premjit Narayana. He's a very good friend of
Oh,
mine.
I see. Oh, wonderful. So Premjit suggested.
He's
Wonderful,
actually
wonderful. Great.
he does plenty of events, actually, the sky events.
Yeah. It not only limits his photography to astro. He also is into sports. He's into travel. He's also into aerial. So he's got a wide kind of collection of images that he wants to share. So I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to kind of get him at Pixel Village, and that'll be a feast again.
Of course.
Okay, so can you? There are a few questions again. few questions again, and some of our viewers are answering the questions by themselves. Okay, Vivek Joshi is back with another question where when you say blue color represents oxygen, do you mean the images you shared of, let's say, the blue colored nebula? Does that mean that it contains oxygen there?
This is a tricky question, actually. Uh, as I said, I am not sure actually whether you have oxygen or not. But we use a filter called the oxygen 3 filter. Okay, that is O3 filter. Okay, so the light which comes through this particular filter contains blue color. This will be substituted for the blue color. But oxygen filter, if it is oxygen over there, I really
You're
don't know
not
about
sure.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, even if you have any ideas of exploring that place, it's about 11.5 million light years away or close, depending on how you're going to look at it. Anyway, how do you, please, right hand for, okay. So this is an interesting question by Srishant Patil is asking how to be at a right place at the right time for astrophotography. How do you plan it as a beginner? That's a good question, Srishant.
Yeah. See, as a beginner, how do you be at right time? The first photographs usually like about for astrophotography, what you do will be like the Milky Ways. So the Milky Way season is from in summer actually. The Milky Way is a summer target. Okay, so it starts from March, end of March, and it the Milky Way sets by okay, say like November, October by maybe by end of November it will be over actually. So in this period you can photograph Milky Way, but again in March it will be visible early in the morning, maybe like after 2 o'clock, after 3 o'clock in the dawn. Okay, so when it comes by time, when the time travels in April, in May, or in June, you can start seeing it by 8 o'clock in the
Oh,
night. Okay,
okay.
and by November, by November actually by 10 o'clock you will see the end of the Milky Way. So the best period which I will suggest is like from April to say July or September, August, yeah. July, August will be very nice to photograph this. And the right place is a dark place where you can see plenty of stars with very less light pollution. And you have some nice foreground subjects, like maybe some nice stones, and I can have even if
Yeah.
trees. Of course, in our country, there is wind will be always there, so you cannot get a stable foreground for like 30 seconds or 20 seconds. Yeah, then I have to just tell you this about getting the Milky Way. Getting the star is focusing the star and uh, getting the stars spot on, like pointed stars. So for that, we actually on a tripod we used to use the 500 rule. Okay, it is called the 500 rule. It means the focal length divided by 500. Okay, say for example, if you are using a 50 lens, focal length is 50 divided by 500 is 10. So your maximum exposure length can be 10 seconds, above which there will be the stars will not be spot on. You will get a trailing line in the stars. So if you are using a 50 lens to photograph the Milky Way, your maximum exposure length should be 10 seconds on a
Okay.
static tripod. If it's a tracking mount, it's a different case. But on a static tripod, the maximum shutter speed will be the based on the 500. So if you are using a 14 mm lens, uh, approximately around 32 seconds you can expose it,
Okay. Okay.
like that, without any
Wonderful.
start trace. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Manu Digital is asking, can you please tell how to stack photos in Photoshop? Manu, it is beyond the scope of this session in telling how to stack, but I will rephrase your question. Is it possible to stack a kind of an astro image using Photoshop, or the other software, the free softwares that you mentioned, are they better?
See, actually, Photoshop stacking. Actually, there are plugins which are used for in Photoshop to stack. I haven't tried the scripts in Photoshop for stacking. We have a Photoshop script. I've never
Okay.
tried it, but
So
you can
it's just
get plugins.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get plugins like Astro Panel, which allows you to stack photos in Photoshop. But otherwise, you have a very excellent piece of software called Deep Sky Stacker, and it is a free version available in the internet. You can download it, and that is one of the best piece of software for stacking.
Deep Sky Stacker.
Yes.
Sure. So it stacks does it help you stack your raw images, or will it stack the processed JPEGs or TIFFs?
Not TIFFs actually. It will you can stack JPEGs and the RAW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it also okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, that has actually taken us to the 2-hour limit. I want to quickly kind of tell you since we are at it, I'll quickly would like to tell you a little bit about Pixel Viilage. And Pixel Viilage is an online photography education portal, and we have this website where we teach photography classes. We have some of the finest photography mentors. These are all pre-recorded classes on various subjects. They range from 1.5 hours to like 13 hours sessions, and on various topics, and they're also available in many languages. So currently there is a small additional advantage too in subscribing, is that we are running a small kind of a lucky dip, where if you buy a class between it was for March and April, if you were to buy a session, obviously you'll stand to win AD100 Pro. This is available only for India and available for sessions other than mobile phone photography sessions. Okay, so please log in to sign up at Pixel Viilage, and also support. I mean, that'll be a great support if you kind of sign up, and also let us know about what you think about Pixel Viilage and our activities, and anything that you would like to know, for us to, which will help us to conduct these kind of sessions. We'd be happy to. I request you to do two things now. Is first, let us know how useful it was in the comments column. One. Second is that, that's the only thing that I'd like to know, how useful it was, and what is that you would like to hear in the upcoming sessions. What kind of topics that you would like us to discuss? So if you can do that, that'll be wonderful. So please go ahead and do that now. Okay, and I'm going to use this time while some people, our friends, are typing in. I'm going to use that time to kind of thank you, Ajit, especially for taking your time out. I know this is a working day in your part of the world, and you are definitely about 2 hours behind us. which means you managed to reach back early enough, to be a part of this live stream. So thank you very much for your support. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, thank you for this opportunity. Actually, I'm so happy to be here. Actually, I was thinking to go for a demonstration session, um, but it is not possible today. Hopefully, we will
Yeah,
pick
no,
up
we will
again
come back and do it
sometime.
that
Yeah.
on another day. We will keep it only for demonstration, probably slightly
Yes.
later into the night, so that we will be able to kind of see some images too.
Yeah.
That'll be fantastic. Okay, so with that, I'd like to thank all the participants once again for being a part of today's session, and also Ajit for for that fantastic, very, very interesting session. I learned many new things today, new terminologies today, and which I didn't know that which existed. So thank you very much, everyone. Please take good care. COVID is still around. It's not yet time to kind of rejoice, make merry. I think Pune is and Maharashtra as a state is going to go into a complete lockdown, I think, from day after tomorrow. So I think I'll be confined to this dining table for next 15 days. But I've kind of already started shifting a little bit of my studio into my home. Let's see what we can do from this dining table. Yeah, so thank you very much. Generally a good feeling from people. People say Ranjit, Ashish, Sudarshan Rao, Manu Digital. They are all saying that they have enjoyed the session and it was useful. So that's fantastic. And apparently there's a larger delay between our live and the actual session. It used to be not more than 20 seconds, but I can see that the delay is really, really long now. So maybe that's the reason why I'm not getting the right feedbacks in time. Maybe we'll just hold on for 2 more minutes before we actually sign off here. But yeah, more or less, I think that's it. And I have not really planned what to do next Tuesday because of this lockdown. But we might discuss Tamron lenses. I'm just thinking. Tamron makes very interesting third-party lenses. So I'm for all cameras. So we've been using a couple of them in the studio, and we found it extremely cost-effective without any quality loss. So we might talk about Tamron lenses. We might also, get a few Tamron, probably a technical team, probably mentors into that discussion. Let's see what's possible. But currently, that's what might happen next Tuesday. But I'll keep you posted. I'll also send you, heads up. I'll send you messages. So perfect. Thank you very much once again, everyone, for tuning in. Be safe. Make sure that you are all following the COVID protocols. Stay safe. Maintain distance. Wear your mask. Do whatever that is necessary to take care of yourself and your friends, your family. Use the excess time that you have available to enrich yourself, learn more new things, and I'll definitely help you. So once again, thank you very much, friends, and thank you, Ajit, and have a good night.
Thank
Bye
you so
for
much.
now.